What up is Marcus, Dynasty Football Dads. We have 8 games that we're going to be going through of the Week 6 preview. We're going to start with Chiefs-Washington. We have some noon games, some 3 games, and we have Sunday and Monday night games as well. So if you did not see the previous games, they're on, let's see, today's Friday, so they're on Wednesday's video. If you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe. We appreciate that, and it helps keeps you update to watch me and my face, and sometimes my son's, who is 7 months old, if you care about that. Chiefs versus Washington is the first game, and so we have Antonio Gibson did have a slight, I don't even know if you want to call it setback, but a shin injury. And so he is questionable, downgraded to questionable, a late week downgrade. So if you need a running back, J.D. McKissick, if he's out there, probably not in many leagues, but if he's out there, that would be a good pickup. But also just, it's a noon game, so be warned, put him in your flex. And be careful, like, he might be out, and just know that you might not have him this week. And this might be a continuous problem with his shin injury. Everyone else, Terry McLaurin, you're starting Terry McLaurin. He's a huge start, and you are actually starting, yes, a top 10 quarterback in Taylor Heinicke. He has been a top 10 quarterback when he has been playing, and Kansas City's defense is non-existent. So we are going to be starting Taylor Heinicke. I know, this is weird. It feels weird, but Taylor Heinicke, we are starting him. And I think Terry McLaurin is going to have a really good game. The Washington wide receiver 2, I don't know. I'm going to pick Adam Humphries. And I think he might actually have an okay game because Washington is, I mean, they're going to, I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. Kansas City, you are starting your normal Kansas City players. I think Darrell Williams will have an okay game. Running back, like 2 flex-ish. Hill, Kelsey, Mahomes, starting, no one else. All right, that's pretty easy. Kansas City's like the easiest fantasy team to predict. It's just like your running back is going to be an RB2 flex. Your wide receiver, I mean, you're not going to start a wide receiver 2 on that team, and that's it. All right, Packers versus Bears. I like this one because, I mean, the Packers-Bears is always like a bloodbath. And it is one of the biggest rivalries, if not the biggest rivalries, in NFL football. I don't know why I said NFL football, just NFL. So, Packers, you are starting Devontae, you're starting Aaron Rodgers, you're starting Aaron Jones, you are not starting A.J. Dillon. I mean, if you have an A.J. Dillon thought, you're not starting him. It's more on the Bears side. I mean, you're not starting Tanyan or anything like that at this point. The Bears side of the ball is where things get a little bit interesting. You're not starting Fields, and Allen Robinson is a frustrating wide receiver 3, but I mean, you could easily say that if you have other options at this point, benching him is the move. Mooney, I'm not starting Mooney in this one either. The running backs are the key. Damian Williams is now potentially going to miss this game, and if he does, Khalil Herbert is the running back that I am definitely wanting, and if you haven't picked him up and he's available on your league, definitely do that. He could also be that kind of replacement for Antonio Gibson if Antonio Gibson is if he's somehow out. Also, we'll get to there's another potential replacement here as well, and we'll talk about that in the next game. This game right here, Bengals versus Lions. TJ Hawkinson, you're starting because you almost have to at this point. You're hoping he has a better week. Pretty much no one else. I mean, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, you're starting those 2 running backs. But wide receiver-wise, I'm just going to kind of let it play out. If you're going to start a wide receiver just because you're in desperate need, let's say, I don't know, some of these leagues start like 4 or 5 players, Amon-Ra St. Brown is the guy. He is the guy. He's a 4th round pick, and I believe I thought he actually was a talented wide receiver to be a day 2 pick, round 2, round 3 wide receiver. He's of course out of USC and kind of plays like a Michael Pittman-ish type, who also came from USC. So Amon-Ra St. Brown is a potential flyer here, and if you are in a league where you are desperate need of wide receiver, he might be a good pickup because Quintus Cephas broke his collarbone and is out for the year. Bengals, this is the potential where you're going to potentially have a backup. P. Ryan on the COVID list. He's out currently. Chris Evans is potentially the starter. There's also, I think, Puka Williams is on the practice squad, and they have, I think, Travion Williams maybe still. I don't know if they even have him still. But Chris Evans would be the guy, in my opinion, if P. Ryan and Mixon are out, which there's a chance that could happen. It's less chance than Damian Williams being out and Khalil Herbert. I'd rather have Khalil Herbert wide and by far over Chris Evans. But Chris Evans is an option if you are in desperate need here. And so you're starting Ja'Marr Chase. You're looking at T. Higgins and seeing if he's actually going to be healthy or not. You're not saying, I mean, you're starting actually probably Burrow as like a quarterback 2. I mean, not a quarterback 1, but a quarterback 2. And you're starting Tyler Boyd again, kind of into that wide receiver 3 territory. If I would say Boyd or Allen Robinson, I'm going to start Boyd. Boyd's an okay wide receiver. He's going to have 1,000 yards on the year. He just doesn't have this elite upside. You're not going to get the Jamar Chase type of 2 touchdowns, 70, 80 yards. You're probably going to get 70, 80 yards and no touchdowns. Or maybe he goes into the end zone and you get that kind of 80 yards and a touchdown. But that's what I believe on Tyler Boyd. Cardinals, Browns, Nick Chubb is now out with a calf injury. So this is kind of the Kareem Hunt show. Just know that, limit your expectations. He's not a top 5 back this week because Arizona's been a really good defense, a surprisingly good defense. You're not starting OBJ. I mean, bench OBJ at this point. This is going to be, I think, kind of a game like you saw San Francisco play with Arizona. A sloppier game, a game that is going to, hopefully the Browns defense comes to play. They did not against Herbert and Eckler and stuff. But you're going to start, I mean, I was going to say Rondell Moore, but I was going to say you're going to start Nuke. You're going to start James Conner and Chase Edmonds as kind of these, again, RB2 flexes. It's what they do. Conner doesn't get that many yards, but he falls into the end zone, and Chase Edmonds does more of the passing work, and they kind of are in this RB2 flex kind of spot. Kyler Murray is an automatic start at this point from now on. I mean, he kind of already was this year and last year. I don't know what has changed. Nothing. Am I starting Rondell Moore? I'm trying not to. Like, I would have him below the Allen Robinson, and I would have him below Tyler Boyd at this point, just because the Browns matchup is a risky matchup because they are a good defense. They just didn't do anything last week. So, I mean, believe the 1 game sample size, or believe what I believe is going to be a more majority of the sample size, which is Browns defense is good. And Browns pass catchers, it's like, gosh, your guess is as good as mine. Is it Rashad Higgins? Is it Njoku Day? Is Hooper going to come from the dead and like the Undertaker? I don't know. Your guess is, again, good as mine. Cowboys versus Patriots. You're starting all your Cowboys that you normally do, including Pollard. Patriots, you're starting no one besides Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is the only guy that I like as kind of this wide receiver 3-4 type, and it's because he gets so many targets, he just doesn't score because the Patriots don't score. Just a little kind of little thing to know. Brandon Bolden is a super deep, like, if you, again, you have to know these guys' names because, like, they are sometimes, I mean, they may not have value this week, but sometimes they'll have value on the future. Two running backs, because Damian Harris is hurt. Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden. Brandon Bolden, the wide receiver, kind of the pass catcher guy. And then Ramondre Stevenson, the running back of the two. Again, I think they're both going to kind of siphon away this kind of unattractive backfield, but it is something to note. Raiders versus Broncos. You're starting Derek Waller, Josh Jacobs. That's probably about it. Yeah. And Broncos, you are starting, I mean, at this point, Melvin Gordon and Javonte, you're starting both, but again, they're kind of the Arizona backfield. You're getting 50-50 kind of snap percentages, and it's going to be frustrating. Sutton, you are starting Sutton in this one. And when I say start Sutton, it means probably bench Sutton, because I've been wrong every single week on one player, and that has been Sutton. I've been pretty right so far this year, but Sutton has been somebody I have been completely wrong on. Every time I start him, he sucks, and every time I benched him, he's done good. So I say start him, so that means bench him. And that means it's going to be Tim Patrick Day. And I think Tim Patrick is going to have a fine day, which is he does what he does best, which is like a Tyler Boyd type of 7 for 70. And that's what you're going to get. And maybe he does touchdown, maybe he doesn't. It's like this. He'll have 5-6 touchdowns on the year, and this, so it might be a week, it might not be. Seahawks Steelers, this is Sunday night. The Geno Smith era. Not era, I guess you could say. The Geno Smith 6 to 8 weeks is upon us. Again, we don't know if Chris Carson's hurt or not, so hopefully you have Alex Collins. If you don't have Alex Collins, well, I'm sorry for your loss. So Chris Carson may play, may not. He has a neck injury. This might be a lingering thing, and if you do have Chris Carson and he does play and has a decent week, this is you got to sell him. You got to sell Chris Carson, but Chris Carson, I mean, you got to start him if you have him. Najee Harris on the other side, because it's against the Steelers, is an automatic start. So is Deontay. So is Claypool. Big Ben is not. For the Steelers side, you're not starting Geno. You're starting DK, and Tyler Lockett, I think, is going to have the biggest hit because he's the deep ball threat here. So I think he's going to be a kind of this, again, later wide receiver, end of wide receiver, maybe 2, beginning wide receiver 3, like just a player that, again, if you have better options, like I think he's going to be more into the Tyler Boyd realm than I do. Like if you had Tyler Boyd or Tyler Lockett, man, that would be such a tough decision. In this case, I'm probably just going to take Tyler Boyd because he's against the Lions versus Tyler Lockett who's against the Steelers. That's just my opinion. Bills, Titans, Monday Night Football. You're starting Henry. I mean, you're starting your normal players. You're starting A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown's going to have this is, again, if you're going to have a buy low opportunity, it's this week and after the Monday night game of A.J. Brown. Because I think, again, against the Bills, who are extremely good against the pass coverage, I think you're going to have a good game from Josh Allen. I think this is actually a Zach Moss game, too. I actually do think this is going to be some Zach Moss fun. And then the Titans, Tannehill, maybe Julio if he's actually playing. Like, Julio's always a start if he's playing because he just gets so many yardage. He gets so many yards. So that's what we got with the 8 games, all right? So I might throw some shorts here. When I mean shorts, I mean YouTube shorts. In the next couple of days. That's probably what I might do. If there's any emergency, like, hey, people are out or something changes. Kind of like the Nick Chubb thing. Like, Nick Chubb was he was kind of banged up, but you're like, oh, he's probably going to play, and then all of a sudden he's out. And that changes things because now instead of against the Cardinals defense, who is a good defense, that you have 2. Is my lights going on? I feel like it just got darker in here. Whatever. Instead of having 2 running backs to go against this tough defense, you just have Kareem Hunt, who is a top 5 fantasy running back this year, actually, which is kind of surprising. But anyways, so again, this is Marcus with Dynasty Fun. Peace out. See you tomorrow. No, don't see you tomorrow. See you Monday. Or on the shorts if you watch the shorts. All right? Peace out.